Bosses and workers. So there's a difference between the two. Bosses oftentimes are shouldered with the liability and the responsibility for setting the direction, for setting the vision of the organization. What are we going to accomplish today, this week, this month, this year, and as a company as a whole, setting the tone of what we are to represent and stand for. Workers have the better end of the stick. They don't have that liability, and they have less responsibility. They're privileged to be able to show up and not have the burden of making sure that all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. That is essential because there's a very simple formula out there, and I'm going to put it up there, that shows what bosses do when the lights aren't on, when there are no crowds watching, when there are no people cheer, when there is no paparazzi, when there are no CNBC or MSNBC interviews, what they do behind the scenes. Most of the people at this hour are on Netflix or internet browsing, where bosses are strategizing, planning how to execute next steps. Essential to be able to compound and build progress, to be able to separate, to be able to dominate what I believe is the next decade that's coming up. I put it on LinkedIn. My focus is just not on 2020. My focus is on the 2020s. So I want each and every year to be better than the last, each and every step to be bigger than the last, each and every milestone to be further in advance than I have in my own mind. Because I know as I build, because I know as I change my associations, I know as I change my habits, my eating habits, my workout habits, drinking more basic stuff that you know to do, all that going into getting to that next level, that next version, and that really net worth that I'm chasing. Not that I'm chasing money, but that I'm chasing the version of myself that I want to see. I want to see the pinnacle of me. I want to see the perfected version. I want to see the eternal side of myself almost before I get there. So I'm chasing it in a way that you would not believe, and focused on every single hour, minute, and second of the day. What can I do in order to improve where I want to be and how I'm going to get there? There's a formula out there, and Uncle G had it in an interview, and he says, in order to get to the income level that you want, which for me personally, I want to get to the point where I make $440 million a year, earned, paid through this business that I'm working in, because there's unlimited potential for upside, there's unlimited earning potential, there's unlimited income. So I want to earn $440 million a year just to start, and I plan to accomplish that in an unrealistic timeline, which is why I love it so much. So in order to do that, he says, who do I have to be? What must I become? And what am I willing to do to get there? I ask those questions as an individual now, because I don't have a family, I don't have a wife, I don't have a kids, I don't have pets, and I don't have employees right now to provide for. So I spend all of these hours that I don't have understanding what will I need in order to make sure that I have that in place, that structure, that system, that rigidity in place that ensures each and every step is being executed on. So knowing that if you want to get to your next station in life, wherever it is, if you are a junior vice president and you want to become a senior vice president, who do you need to be? What do you need to become? And what are you willing to give in order to get there? Because this is a universe of reciprocity where there is no such thing as something for nothing. I'm willing to give hours. I'm willing to pour into every single person who will sit down belly to belly across the table from me and say, whatever you're going or whatever you're chasing or whatever you're after, I will help you get there if you allow me, because I have my own path. And I believe we're all just passing through. So who are you willing to, or who do you need to be? What must you become? And what are you willing to give? For me personally, I know three things I am not going to compromise. First is my faith, will not compromise. Second is my family, is non-negotiable. And third is ethics, also non-negotiable. All of those three will not be tampered with. Outside of that, giving up going to a watch party, sure. Missing a few years of March Madness, no big deal. Maybe even not watching the Super Bowl, okay, we'll catch the highlights. It doesn't really matter for me, because I am determined to get to where I wanted to be, and I am obsessively focused and giving everything that I have in order to make sure that vision becomes a reality.